Hi everybody, my name is Donna. I am an early childhood music specialist, and this is another video to help adults who work with children or care for children who want to bring music into their lives. So in my last video I talked about solfege and I explained the whole scale with the hand signs. I made a little short video that you can reference that shows all of them. But today what we're going to do is I want to introduce some games that you can play with that now that help to solidify the concepts, because you really want to start as small as possible, especially when you're working with very young children as young as age 3, because the fewer choices that you give them, the easier it is to work with. And so this is the way I teach it, is I start with just 3 notes, and the 3 notes are La, Sol, Mi. And what's really cool about these 3 notes is that most music that children have composed, children's folk music that they have written themselves for other children, this is kind of what we might call the schoolyard scale, because you'll notice that it's kind of na, 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 na. So many songs written, children's songs written with these 3 songs, right? It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. Ring around the rosy, all over. And there's all kinds of different children's songs in different languages where they also use the exact same 3 notes. So they're very, very accessible. They come very natural to children. And so that's why we start with this. And so I'm just going to show you how you can use these to make little echoes. So you just start by singing 3 notes at a time, and you can have your child echo back. So, for example, So, Mi, La, and they sing So, Mi, La, La, Mi, So, Mi, La, So, Mi, So, La, So, La, Mi, La, So, Mi. So those are just 3 note echoes. So you start with that and just have fun with it, and they can try and echo back with that. And then you can, to make it a little more complicated, you can expand that into a 4 beat or 4 note echo. So in those cases I was using just 3 notes. This time I'm going to use 4 notes. So something like So, Mi, La, Mi, Mi, La, So, So, Mi, So, La, So, and on and on and on. And then once they're getting more comfortable with that, you can start getting more rhythmically complicated a little bit, but within still the 4 beats. So something like this. La, mi, mi, so, mi. Mi, so, mi, la, so, and on and on. And so, yeah, if you're feeling a little bit nervous about improvising, don't worry, you can write it out ahead of time, or, just so that you know what you're going to do. When you first start making up little melodies with children, it can be, especially if you have a class, it can be really intimidating. So I think it can be helpful to just write out what melodies you're going to do in advance and then choose from that. And then the other thing you can do with this little melody is you can start introducing composing skills. And you can actually have children as young as 3 years old, 2 years old even, composing music just using these 3 notes. So, for example, you can ask them a question, and this is how I do it with my students, is that you ask a question using the notes, and then they can answer back. So something like this: What would you like for breakfast? I would like some oatmeal, please. What's your favorite color? My favorite color is purple. Right? Have them just have little conversations like that with them, and then it'll become so much more natural. They're not thinking about it because it's just 3 notes, so they don't have to think about what notes I'm going to use too much, but they are still making choices. They're just not as stressed out about it. And because they're using it to communicate, which is what we use music for, It's a very natural way to introduce composition skills. All right, that's it. Thank you and Happy New Year. Oh, and please like and subscribe. Hit like and subscribe.